For more than 1,000 years, one city stood between two worlds. It survived empires, crusades, plagues, and sieges that erased others from memory. Its walls were considered unbreakable, its position untouchable, its survival almost inevitable. But history does not reward age, it rewards adaptation. In the middle of the 15th century, the rules of power changed faster than this city could. New weapons, new ambitions, a new kind of war, and one young ruler who believed that if the world was going to move forward, this city had to fall. What happened in 1453 was not just the capture of a capital, it was the collapse of an era. And when Constantinople fell. Section 1. The last morning of a 1,000-year empire, the bells begin before sunrise, not in celebration, but in habit. Their sound moves through Constantinople's empty streets, echoing off stone walls that have not slept in weeks. The city is exhausted, so are the men standing on the battlements, staring into the dark beyond the moat, waiting for what everyone knows is coming. It is May 29, 1453, the 53rd day of the siege. The air is cold, heavy with smoke and damp earth. Inside the walls, the population has shrunk to less than 50,000. Outside, an army nearly 4 times that number prepares in silence. No cheers, no speeches, just the creak of armor, the low murmur of prayer, and the distant rumble of cannon being dragged into position. You would see candles burning in churches that no longer feel protected by their saints. Hagia Sophia stands at the center of the city, massive and still, its dome catching the first gray light of dawn. Inside, civilians kneel shoulder to shoulder. Greeks, Italians, soldiers, monks, people who have argued theology for centuries now united by fear. The city has no reinforcements coming. It has no second wall to fall back to. It has only hope stretched thin. On the land walls, Emperor Constantine walks among his defenders. He is not dressed like a ruler. He wears armor like everyone else. There will be no escape, no surrender. If the city falls, he falls with it. Everyone knows this. No one says it aloud. Then just before sunrise, the cannons speak again, louder than before. Closer, stone shudders. Dust lifts from the walls. Somewhere in the darkness beyond the trenches, the final assault begins to move. The city that has survived for more than 1,000 years has entered its last morning. To understand what is about to be lost, you have to understand what Constantinople was. This was not just a city, it was an idea made of stone. Founded in the year 330 by Constantine the Great, it sat astride the Bosporus, controlling the narrow passage between Europe and Asia. Every ship that passed carried wealth or paid for the privilege not to be stopped. Constantinople was the richest city in the Mediterranean world. Its walls were legendary, 3 layers deep, reinforced by towers, moats, and gates that had repelled armies for centuries. Attila the Hun failed here. Arab caliphates failed here. Crusaders only succeeded once, and even that nearly broke Europe itself. The city was protected not just by walls, but by reputation. Inside, it was a center of learning, art, and faith. Greek texts survived here while they vanished elsewhere. Roman law was preserved, refined, and enforced. Hagia Sophia was not simply a church. It was the largest enclosed space on earth for nearly 1,000 years, a declaration of divine order made visible. But greatness has a cost. Constantinople depended on trade routes that were shifting. It relied on wealth it no longer fully controlled. By the 15th century, its empire had shrunk to little more than the city itself and a few scattered territories. The walls still stood, but the world around them had changed. The city's strength had become its trap. Its location made it indispensable, and irresistible. Its history made it confident long after confidence was justified, while Constantinople looked backward, believing survival proved destiny. New powers were learning how to break walls with gunpowder instead of ladders. The city still called itself the Queen of Cities. But queens without allies do not rule for long. Beyond the Bosporus, a different future was taking shape. Section 3. The young Sultan and the point of no return Mehmed II was 19 years old when he decided Constantinople would fall. Not someday, not symbolically, completely. He had inherited an empire that surrounded the city on every side, yet remained divided by its existence. As long as Constantinople stood, unlike his predecessors, Mehmed understood something crucial. The age of medieval siege warfare was ending. Walls alone no longer guaranteed safety. Cannons changed everything, and Mehmed invested in them obsessively. He hired engineers, including a Hungarian founder named Urban, to build weapons unlike anything the city had ever faced. One cannon alone required dozens of oxen to move and could shatter stone that had resisted attack for centuries. But technology was only part of the strategy. Mehmed isolated the city diplomatically. Western Europe was divided, distracted, or unwilling to commit. Venice hesitated. The Pope promised aid that never arrived in force. Constantinople was left with fewer than 7,000 defenders, some local, some foreign, facing an army of at least 80,000. The siege began in April 1453. Each day followed the same rhythm: bombardment, repair, prayer, exhaustion. The Ottomans learned the walls. They adapted. They dug tunnels. They tested weaknesses. And slowly, methodically, they reduced the city's margin for survival. By May, the breaches were visible. The defenders knew they could not hold forever. Mehmed knew this too. On the night of May 28, he ordered his troops to rest. The next morning would not be another test. It would be the end. When the first wave advanced, there was no turning back for either side. Section 4. 53 days that ended an age. The assault begins before dawn. Drums roll. Horns sound. The ground trembles as thousands move forward at once. First come the irregulars, lightly armed, expendable, sent to exhaust the defenders. They die in large numbers, but they serve their purpose. The defenders waste arrows. Muscles burn. Fear sets in. Then the regular troops advance. Cannon fire resumes, timed with the attack. Stone collapses inward. Dust blinds men on the walls. Somewhere near the gate of St. Romanus, a breach finally opens wide enough for bodies to pour through. Inside the city, chaos spreads faster than orders. Bells ring again, not in prayer, but in warning. Civilians run toward churches, believing sanctuary still means something others hide in cellars. Pressing children against their chests, listening to steel strike steel above them. On the walls, Emperor Constantine fights as a soldier. No crown, no guards. When the defenders begin to break, he refuses to retreat. His last recorded words are not heroic speeches, but a simple question: whether there is anyone left to die with him. Then he disappears into the melee. By mid-morning, the Ottomans are inside the city. Discipline fractures. Looting begins. Fires spread. Hagia Sophia fills with refugees until the doors are forced open. The great space that once symbolized eternal order now echoes with screams. Mehmed enters Constantinople later that day. He rides through ruined streets and stops before Hagia Sophia. He orders the killing to stop. The city is his now, not to destroy, but to transform. By sunset, the Byzantine Empire no longer exists. An age has ended, not with a treaty, but with silence. Section 5. The day the Middle Ages ended the fall of Constantinople sends shockwaves across the known world. Scholars flee west, carrying Greek manuscripts that will help ignite the Renaissance. Trade routes shift permanently. Europe, cut off from the east, begins searching for new paths across the oceans. The city itself does not die, it is reborn. Constantinople becomes Istanbul, capital of an empire that will dominate the Eastern Mediterranean for centuries. Churches become mosques, markets return, life resumes, but under new rules. For Europe, the loss is existential. A 1,000-year shield is gone. The medieval world, built on inherited authority and static power, begins to give way to something more dangerous and dynamic. Exploration accelerates. Warfare modernizes. History speeds up. The walls that once seemed eternal now stand as reminders. No structure, no empire, no idea is immune to change. Constantinople believed survival meant permanent. The canons proved otherwise. And in that lesson, the modern world quietly begins.